All right, welcome to What the Tech. This is the show where we cut through all the fluff, all the tech industry nonsense to get to what's really going on. And today, we are diving into a trend that is, well, it's just as weird as it is revealing. And yeah, this quote, this single sentence from our source material, it just perfectly nails what's happening in Silicon Valley right now. I mean, think about it. The tech world is dealing with massive layoffs. They're burning through cash on AI. And somehow, the conversation has taken this bizarre turn. We're not really talking about work anymore. Nope, we're talking about the illusion of it. Okay, so what is this new vibe? What's this trend that's sweeping through all the hottest startups in the Valley? Well, it all kicks off with one simple, but let's be honest, kind of strange request right at the office door. Yep, you heard that right. Forget about, better health plans or more vacation days. The hot new perk is a no-shoes policy. Seriously, companies are rolling out these plush rugs, they're handing out branded slippers. They are literally engineering a space to completely blur the line between your office and your living room. And look, this isn't just one or two weird companies. There's literally a website, No Shoes Fun, that's tracking this whole thing. And you'll see a bunch of names on there, especially AI startups like Cursor, Replo, and Composite. So that leads us to the big, obvious question. Why? Why is this happening? All right, so let's dig into the official story here. Because, the founders aren't just saying, hey, take off your shoes. No. They are selling a much bigger idea, a whole new pitch for what the office is supposed to be. And boom, here it is. This quote is the key to everything. The CEO of an AI startup called Spur says the policy makes it feel like a second home and disarms you. Now, I want you to really lock onto that word disarms. Hold that thought because we are absolutely coming back to it. It is so revealing. So on one hand, you've got this Stanford economist calling it the pajama economy. The idea that we're just bringing our comfy work-from-home habits back into the office. Sounds nice, right? Kind of cozy. But then you slam right into the brutal reality of Silicon Valley's 996 culture. That's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. Suddenly, this isn't about comfort, is it? It's more like a quiet admission that you're wearing slippers because you basically never go home. The office is your home. Okay, so let's just call this what it is. This is corporate cosplay. It's not some genuine organic evolution of work culture. It's a performance. It's all a show designed to look like progress while, fundamentally changing absolutely nothing. And that brings us right back to that word, that really critical word, why? Why would your employer need you to be disarmed? Think about that. Why do they want your guard down? A job, at its core, is a professional, transactional thing. So what's the real advantage for them in making you feel less formal, less professional, maybe even a little more vulnerable? You see, asking these kinds of questions, that's exactly what we do here at What the Tech. We don't just read the headlines. We dig past all that hype to give you the analysis that actually matters. So if that's what you're here for, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. And hey, drop a comment below. I really want to know what you think. Is this just a cool, quirky perk, or is it a massive red flag? All right, let's decode this corporate speak, shall we? When they say second home, what they really mean is emotional capture. They want to blur those boundaries between your personal life and your work life so you actually feel guilty for clocking out. And when they say it disarms you, well, that means they want to lower your guard so you're way less likely to push back, to negotiate, or to demand what you're actually worth. This whole thing, it fits perfectly under a concept we can call aesthetic theater. And you've seen this before. It's the exact same playbook as the free kombucha on tap or the ping pong table in the break room. These perks, they create the appearance, the look of an amazing culture, but they do absolutely nothing to address the real stuff, like your workload, your job security, or your pay. I mean, come on, you're not liberating people by letting them wear socks. You're just putting prettier decorations on the cage. Now, what's really interesting here is that this trend, it's not happening everywhere in tech. No, it seems to be concentrated in one very specific, and let's face it, very hyped up sector, AI. You start to notice a pattern, right? The companies that are pushing this shoeless thing the hardest, they're overwhelmingly AI startups. And trust me, that is not a coincidence. This is a very calculated signal, and it's being broadcast to a very specific audience. So here's the bottom line. This has nothing to do with authentic company culture. It's all about branding. It's a fake rebellion, faux rebellion, packaged up neatly for investors. The message they're sending is, hey, look at us. Look at our weird little barefoot cult. We're not some stuffy old school company. We must be building something totally special and disruptive. It's a performance, plain and simple, and it's designed to get that venture capital money. And just in case you had any lingering doubts that this is all about image and not substance, get a load of this. This quote comes from an economist mentioned in the source article, and it's supposed to be this, witty little observation, but what it actually reveals is something deeply, deeply problematic. So let's just break down what a line like that is really saying. First off, it's pure youth worship. It's sending this signal, this dog whistle, that the company cares more about being young and hot than it does about, say, experience. It basically hints at the ageism that's just baked right into this supposedly modern culture. And really, it just exposes how unbelievably shallow and exclusionary this whole vibe can be. Okay, so while everyone in Silicon Valley is over there debating the pros and cons of bunny slippers in the office, let's take a step back, let's zoom out, and remember what the real, pressing conversations in tech ought to be about right now. I'm talking about the fact that massive layoffs have become completely normalized, business as usual. I'm talking about the AI boom driving this insane energy demand that's a huge problem for the environment. Wages are under pressure, they're stagnating, and AI is being used as the perfect excuse for labor efficiencies, which is just a nice way of saying replacing people. These are the real crises. And we're talking about socks. See, this isn't just some quirky little trend. It's a distraction. It's a completely trivial debate designed to pull everyone's focus away from the really hard structural problems that the tech industry has created and seems to have no interest in solving. And that brings us to the final and I think most critical question. And this is a question you should be asking not just about this no shoes trend, but about any corporate perk that gets sold to you as culture. So ask yourself, does taking off your shoes at the door make your job more fair? Does it make it more sustainable, more human? Does it give you job security? Or does it just make the whole experience of exploitation a little more comfortable? That's the real question to think about. Thanks for tuning in.